I swear the airport's like the Wild Wild West. I just had a double cheeseburger, bacon at 11 in the morning. So many stores I don't even need at the airport. Oh man, I'm in here in Raleigh, North Carolina. Just finished visiting my mother. We had a family gathering. She lives in Winterville, North Carolina, so I fly into Raleigh. The funny thing about this flight, it is faster than the commute to Winterville, North Carolina. The flight is literally an hour and 15 minutes, or if the pilot is really going out there, I've gotten here in 57 minutes. I'm definitely between the flows right now because my flight is a little delayed and I do have a class tonight at 6 p.m. Everything to New York is canceled and will be delayed because nothing's going into New York because apparently there's a flood. Here we are. We're at episode 3 of Between the Flows. Anyway, before we jump into episode 3, make sure if you haven't, check out episode 2. It's with my brother G from Australia. He's a master trainer over there, sharing level 1, level 2 workshops in French and English. He's an interesting dude. We talk about everything from being a French-born native, playing professional basketball, being a ski instructor, and making people feel good in skis by teaching them about feet. So definitely check that out. And every season or every episode of Between the Flows is truly special. But this one is very unique and special because we got a chance to talk with the creator of Animal Flow, Mike Fitch. I've gotten the opportunity to connect with Mike a bunch of times, from workshops to mentorships. But a salient memory of connecting with Mike was when we went to Grove City, Pennsylvania to be a part of Animal Flow history. Shout out to Dr. Jeff Buxton to share details on QMT, quadrupedal movement training at Grove City College. We look like Marvel characters putting on like these electrodes to see what muscles are firing off when we are performing Animal Flow. And then we put on this body cap suit that truly looked interesting because when I did a side kick through, you saw the side kick through on the screen. When Mike did a side kick, you saw it on the screen. So it was really cool to connect in that way. It was not a workshop, it was not a mentorship. It was definitely a method to the madness of what's happening beyond the muscles when performing Animal Flow. So that was definitely a powerful moment in my Animal Flow journey. When do you get a chance to sit down with someone that created something? What I tend to think about is no one ever met the creator of yoga. No one's ever met the creator of Pilates. I mean, maybe someone know of Joseph Pilates, but I got to sit down and hear the method to the madness of how Animal Flow was created. Animal Flow is a huge part of my life, so having the opportunity to sit down with him was more than just sharing this on the socials. It's a reason of why I move. It's a reason why I travel so much, and he's a dear friend of mine too. So I'm really, really excited to share some of the things he talked about in this upcoming episode. Yeah, thank you again for doing this. This is a big treat for me. I don't know if I expressed it already. You guys changed my life, man.
Oh man. Look, I mean that it means so much to me to hear you say that.
Yeah.
And I've mentioned this to you many times, but watching your evolution and your journey has been a true pleasure and joy. And we jokingly say that you're one of the flowers who has progressed the most, but it's not a joke. It's true. Because to see you at the level that you're at now and to see you where you were when you first began, it's truly like watching a different person.
Ooh. To like truly diving into Animal in 2021, I was at a flow jam with Chris Flow in New York City, and then Chris Flow was like, "Yeah, we'll be in Costa Rica in a couple of months for a mentorship." I'm like, "What? Back up! What is that?" Opted in, jumped in, and humbly, I didn't know what the heck I was doing. And I've taken the level 2 workshop with you, tested out in 2019, get to Costa Rica. I have no clue what L2 is. I don't know what's going on. So I think from that mentorship, I was able to now dive into my body a little differently, think about it in a new way, started really learning my body for the practice of Animal Flow. And I got to say, it's not just for Animal Flow now. It's my beacon. It's my like just lighthouse for life.
Wow, that's powerful.
Yeah.
Certainly it is a practice that does keep you humble, and it always brings you back to zero. Even if you had planned on running, if you had planned on doing a kettlebell workout, doing Olympic lifts, like whatever you were planning on doing that day, it's such a great way to just check in, because we talk about this all the time, but just by placing hands and feet in contact with the ground, you of course are reintroducing yourself to yourself.
That's my first official question for you. When creating the system, what, 13, 14, 15 years ago?
Yeah, 15.
Did you go, man, we're going to create this system. We're going to get people connected in the way you just said?
At the time, I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know what I was doing, really. I was just in my own journey of movement exploration, of body weight training exploration. And I was just learning more about my system because I had spent so many years working as a personal trainer. I'd spent so many years really diving into different modalities. And, I had, at this point in my journey, I felt like I'd really tried everything. I'd really immersed myself in all these different areas of fitness. And at the time, I had just been lifting a lot, and I was much, much bigger than I am now. And the thing that kept going through my mind day after day was, am I training now for the body that I want to have 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now? Or am I training right now for immediate results?
Right.
And this theme of train to last just kept repeating itself. And I just thought, wow, and I was only 30 at the time. Now I'm 45. But even at that time, I just thought, wow, I need to be doing preventative work. I need to be doing work that will help my resilience. And I also need to be doing work that helps me move my bodies in new and novel ways I'd never done before. As you know, and as most people know, most styles of training are quite linear. We move in the same ways time and time again, over and over, in very repetitive ways. So I just knew, hey, I need to experience variety. I need to move my body in all ways, all days. So that began my journey into street workout or calisthenics first. And then I started getting more into movement, starting with gymnastics, breakdancing, parkour, really got into hand balancing. And, to me, I just thought, wow, there's something really magical about having hands and feet in contact with the ground. And I didn't know what it was at the time because I was so young in my path, but I did have a decent understanding of anatomy and how the body works and how it's evolved to work. So that was the lens in which I started looking through when I was wanting to create a system. And coming from being a personal trainer, I think that most personal trainers are decent or to very good at creating systems or workouts and periodization and programming. So I was looking through the lens of anatomy and my understanding of anatomy at the time, and looking at through the lens of creating a system that was based around having hands and feet in contact with the ground. And I was drawing from inspiration that I was experiencing at the time. And it was, it was like I almost didn't know enough. And that gave me a lot of freedom.
Right.
Because, and I think back in retrospect, if I knew what I know now, not only about the animal flow system, but about all the systems that I feel like I have a much better understanding of now, and, different styles of, dance, martial arts, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
I think I would be at this point too intimidated to create something new and say that, like, oh, this is something new that I'm going to put out into the world. And so looking back, it's like almost having that beautiful ignorance really gave me a lot of confidence. To create something. And then as the years have gone by, I've tried to increase my understanding of the human body, and through that process, I've added more of that understanding into the animal flow system, and it too has evolved. So to circle back to your original question, I had no idea what I was doing in the beginning. I just felt very inspired, and I wanted to do everything that I could possibly do to have a better understanding of my body so that I could share it with others. And it was through the system of QMT, of putting hands and feet in contact with the ground.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got the awesome opportunity to see the system evolve, be part of the QMT, no pun intended, movement. And each mentorship I come to, some of the workshops may be similar, right? They're definitely different. And the way the MIs are able to explain animal flow in the evolution has helped me understand my body a lot more. Even at this mentorship, there was something about the scorpion switch. And I was like, I've been doing scorpion switches a while. I know what's going on here. But I think it was just it was plantar flexion of the ankle that really not just makes the motion look great, it adds to the tensegrity of the movement. So
And to your point, I believe that when most people see animal flow and they don't know what it is, they just think, oh, that looks cool.
Right.
But, maybe that's a little bit too dancey for me, or maybe, that feels very uncomfortable to me. And just by looking at it on the surface, you wouldn't know that, especially in the L1 material, the L1 curriculum, every single movement has a reason. There's a scientific rationale for why we hold the angles that we do through each one of the movements in animal flow. And I also don't believe that everyone understands in the beginning that we see animal flow as this fully integrated approach to movement, but we also say, hey, each movement itself can be a really, really valuable tool to elicit a very specific result. So if you want to flow and that's your thing, fantastic. We have everything, we have so many options for you. But if you are just thinking, well, I really want to use this movement for this movement for this. I want to take this movement and add it to a kettlebell swing. I want to take this movement and superset it with a loaded exercise. You can do that as well. And having that variety, having that ability to see each movement as a tool or put them together to experience flow and integration, it's, the accessibility and the applicability of it is just, it's never ending.
Yeah, I love showing up to my classes with nothing. Yeah, nothing but here we go.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's move your body. Transitioning to the language of animal flow. We have a particular language. I feel like that's what makes our community really eccentric and different. Anyone watching, definitely take the L1 workshop to learn the language. My question to you, kind of off topic, on topic. I know you're a world traveler. For 2 years, you kind of lived a nomadic life with Karen. Is there a language in the world that you would, like, snap of a finger, I want to speak this language fluently? Which language would it be for you?
Good question. I mean, I am endlessly impressed when I meet anybody who can speak more than one language.
Me too. Yeah.
It's so impressive to me. And, sometimes we meet, and that's one of the greatest things about our community. We have the most magical, incredible people all over the world who have all these hidden talents. And some of these people can speak 3, 5, 7 languages.
Switching.
Yeah. And it's absolutely incredible to me. And I'm very jealous of that fact. And it's something that I would certainly aspire to. As far as the language that I would like to be able to speak the best, quite oftentimes whenever I'm teaching or going to do a mentorship in a Spanish-speaking country, I always brush up on my Spanish.
For sure.
A little bit, but it's never been one of those things that I feel super confident with. And I know part of that is, of course, putting the time into it, but then also, spending enough time in the place where you can practice it on a day-to-day basis. And every person that I meet that speaks another language really, really well, they always say that's the key. You need to be able to be immersed in that area so that you can practice on a daily basis with a lot of different people. But anyways, to answer your question, to me, any language aside from English would be awesome. Would be any other language. And, I am currently, because I'm a presenter and I'm a speaker, I spend a lot of time critiquing my own ability to speak English. So that's something I'm always working on more. And I do feel at some point I will go, okay, I feel like I'm good enough to where now I can start focusing on another language.
Yes. All right. I love that answer. I'll probably say the same thing. When I owned my gym, I think 87% of my clientele were Spanish speaking. So I took a couple courses, and when I was in my gym, I could talk to you. I could give you a cue. I know recently you become a gym owner. Do you find like your demographic is a different language of people coming in, or it's just the average English person coming into body practice?
Yes, absolutely. I have to tell you, since we're talking about the clientele and the people who come into the gym, having my own space again and being able to have this full circle experience of coming back to personal training again and coming back to being a group fitness instructor, it's one of the most fulfilling things I think I've been able to experience in the last 10 years or so, as far as my professional career outside of Animal Flow.
Right.
But just being able to go back in and work with people on a day-to-day basis,
Right.
work with group classes, work with people coming into Animal Flow and bodyweight training and mobility for the first time. It fills me up in so many different ways. And, whenever I left personal training, to manage Animal Flow and the growth of Animal Flow, I went from speaking with people every single day, all day long, to mostly just, working on content and working on my computer and, of course, interacting with people, but in a digital way.
Yeah.
And, I love that as well. And it allowed us to grow Animal Flow to such a global scale. But I did miss the in-person,
Right.
one-on-one daily interactions because, I would go off and teach a mentorship, go off and teach workshops a couple times a month, but the day-to-day thing was what I missed so much. So now having that space and having such a wonderful clientele who are just the most lovely people, and they're so passionate about what we're offering there, is a space where the true intention is to just learn how to inhabit your vessel better. That is our main goal with every single person who walks in the door.
Oof, they're so lucky to have you guys. How many Animal Flow classes are you sharing at Body Practice these days?
Yeah, so I think we have. So during the week, we're having classes Monday to Saturday, half day on Saturday. And on each day, we have basically a rotating schedule where we'll have, an Animal Flow class early morning, then we'll have a bodyweight strength class, and then we'll have a mobility, like a kin stretch class. Everyone's familiar with kin stretch?
Yeah.
That's the system we use for our mobility training. And then that class format basically flips each day. So that way, if you're, a 6 a.m. person, you can come in for Animal Flow, the next day bodyweight strength, the next day mobility, and then you kind of start over again.
Very cool. Yeah.
So that way each time slot has a rotating offering.
Periodized training.
Yeah, exactly.
Itself. Yeah.
Exactly. So then the incentive is to pick your time, come in, get these new challenges every single time you come in to train, stay consistent with that revolving program.
Love it. And just to wrap up this amazing talk I get to have with you, we have a busy schedule today. Now that we're on the last day of the mentorship, and Mexico's right around the corner, with Mexico ending the mentorships for the year, can you give our viewers a short insight of what goes into planning a mentorship of this magnitude? That's like, this mentorship has 27 to 30, Bali was 125. What goes into just planning? I'm sure that's a loaded question, but what goes into just offering such a different experience every time?
Yeah, it's trial and error for sure.
Sure, okay.
This was our 13th mentorship, and every single time we learned so much. I learned so much as a facilitator. Karen, my business partner, who's been with me in Animal Flow since day one, she does such an incredible job, of doing all the pre-mentorship planning as far as helping people figure out their flights, their transportation, all of that stuff. Then I do the planning as far as the schedule goes. And then whenever we get there, I always say that she essentially hands it off to me.
Right.
So at that point now I'm the one who guides everyone through the experience. And every single time I learn so much more about what people need, how they need to be nurtured. I get more and more inspired by the feedback that we get, the testimonials that we get. And just it's funny, the last time we had our mentorship in Bali, like you mentioned, we had 125 people. At the end of that mentorship, because it worked so well, and because the structure that we used was, I just knew for having 125 people, or let me reframe that, if you were to have 125 people, that without a doubt, there will be people who will feel like they were not focused on, they didn't get the same amount of attention, they didn't feel like they were maybe integrating the group as much. And our goal was to make sure that every single one of those 125 people felt intimately engaged and like they had access to me as well as all of our master instructors. So the way that we formulated that curriculum is I would lead each session. I would start off with an idea or concept or a certain part of the animal flow system. And then after, 20 to 60 minutes, we would then all break into smaller groups of 20 or so. And each one of those smaller groups would go with one of our master instructors and they would continue that topic or theme. And it just worked so well.
Wow.
It worked incredibly well. Everyone was fully integrated and they felt like they had so much attention in every way that they could have needed attention. So whenever we finished with that mentorship, I just thought, that's it. I'm going to do this every single time.
Yeah.
And we also realized, hey, with 125 people, we knew that if we only had one mentorship the following year, it was going to be 175 people.
Oh, yeah.
And then it would get even more challenging and finding a venue would get even more challenging. So we decided, okay, well, let's split it into two. And that's why we decided Mexico and Greece. And we just realized that naturally, organically, we were going to have a smaller group for Greece. And as I was watching this happen, I was getting more and more excited because I knew that this was going to be a throwback mentorship to those early day mentorships where we would have just, 15 people and it just felt so connected. And we all felt like we truly were, family. And already, of course, we have such a great community, but with sometimes those smaller mentorships, you get that feeling of true, this is immediate family.
Yeah.
And so I was getting more and more excited the closer we were getting to this mentorship. And I truly feel like that has been the overall tone of this experience is we spend so much time together. We all have gotten to know each other so well. And the planning was different because I knew that it was going to be a smaller group. So to go back to, what you had mentioned, how do I prepare? The irony was that the last mentorship, I was like, this is the way it's going to be every time.
Yeah.
And then now seeing that we had a great new opportunity, I was like, all right, we're going to change it.
Yeah.
And we're going to have a lot more time together. And then Mexico may be slightly different because Mexico will probably have a much bigger group again. So the main thing is we have to be adaptable. We have to be malleable, pliable. We have to be able to react and figure out how to make sure that every single person has the best experience possible.
Kind of falls into the 4 pillars.
It does. It does. And I said this mentorship is all about the first and fourth pillar. So if anyone's watching this, the first and fourth pillar are first one's connection that we say is interchangeable with communication. And the last one is community. So this mentorship has been all about connection and communication and community.
Man. Well, thank you for this opportunity.
Of course.
Thanks for being
Thanks for the invite.
Yeah. This is my passion project we can share beautiful flows online. But what's going on beyond it? What's going on between it? And I said this yesterday in our group survey. It was very rare. Any fit pros watching this, you get to sit down with a creator or something, or even their master instructors. This is an ongoing relationship. Using the word ongoing, I access to a few master instructors back in Bali with the iterations that you see with bodyweight programs like, let's say yoga. There's many iterations of it. There's hatha, there's vinyasa, there's that we don't use, let's say hot yoga because Bikram is taboo these days. Do you see animal flow 20, 50, 100 years from now, iterations of it being not so much the system being diminished, but there's ways to offer in different facets while keeping the integrity?
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge is maintaining the integrity of any system or brand. And I believe that we've done such a great job. And when I say we, I mean the master instructors, our staff, but also all of our instructors globally. I think we've done such a great job of maintaining the integrity of the system because we always have this very clear delineation of what animal flow is and what it is not. And, one of the things about animal flow that truly does set us apart from some of the other movement systems is and actually, the only one that I know of, and that may not be true, but animal flow, to my knowledge, is the only one that's 100% QMT. It's 100% hands and feet in contact with the ground. Sure, we take our hands off the ground during certain transitions, but you'll never see us stand up. You'll never see us explore full contact with the ground. So we live in this space. And because we carved out this little niche, we can continue to hold space there as long as we continue to hold the integrity of not only the movements, but also just the overall message of the system, of the brand. And 25 years from now, 30 years from now, I have no idea where Animal Flow will be, but it's always been that same thing that drives the system, which is, again, maintaining the integrity, continuing to nurture our community. As new research and science is available, we have to update how we speak about the system. And, you know, they're adding new research all the time to QMT, usually using Animal Flow.
Yeah.
So I believe that the same way, you know, no one knew what HIT training was until everyone knew what HIT training was.
Exactly.
Even if they don't know what HIT actually stands for. I believe that Animal Flow and QMT will be that thing that just becomes more and more part of the global nomenclature, you know, where people just hear it and they identify with it, and then all of a sudden everyone recognizes, wow, there is so much research now to show the validity of getting hands and feet in contact with the ground and moving around. And, you know, without a doubt, we'll start to see other systems that start to do the same thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's just part of evolution. Like that's going to happen.
Yes.
But the thing is, you know, we now have 15 years of doing this, and we have the strength of people all over the world, and it will just get better with time.
Well, know that I'm boots on ground here in New York City.
I've known that forever, since the beginning.
Mike, thank you so much.
Of course.
And take care, everybody. Thank you, man.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah, brother.
I think I get all my questions out.
That was great. Great questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, really great.